Welcome to another episode of Behind the Claw. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. These guys are currently on Asteline. They so Zerzy and Zvart actually they when they came into the system, they noticed that there was another ship that they have run into before, SJ8901. It is a Suleiman class scout courier, the without a doubt the most common ship that you will find next to a Beowulf class free trader. And so they saw that this is the third time they've seen this ship, and so they found where it was docked on Asteline as a trade. It was actually a part of a trade convoy that came in, and so it was docked with the highport. They decided to go have a conversation. Zerzy, of course, the captain. It was only crewed by two people: the captain and her public relations officer, Boris. Um, they they declined that they had anything to do with following the scander, and that they are just a courier ship making their way up and down the main. And Zerzy used some old Jodani centrifuge psionics techniques and determined that she wasn't entirely telling the truth about not following, well, not necessarily about not following them, but not entirely telling the truth about being a courier ship and what they are doing. And when he confronted her with that, she politely told him to get the hell off her ship and called for Boris. And so Boris pulled out his pistol and said, "Get off the boat." I mean, she's not wrong. She's not required to divulge information about her clients, and so that kind of left them without an answer. And so while they were doing this, um, Audrey went into the port and was purchasing parts for a dirt bike that a used dirt bike that she had purchased and is in a cargo bay, and she plans on fixing it up. And we will be starting with Audrey's returning from the parts shop that for parts that she paid way too much money for. Before we get started,
hmm
we would like to point out that we do have a merch store via Zazzle. We've got hoodies and t-shirts and buttons. We've got whiskey rocks glasses, and we've got beer steins. And actually, the beer steins make a better coffee cup. It's one of my favorite coffee mugs. If you like giganto coffees in the morning, and I do. All 100% of the proceeds from that store goes back into our channel. It helps us cover the cost of things like Roll20 Pro, Incarnate Pro, um, Dungeon Scroll Pro, all manner of these little minor subscriptions that all gang up on us at the beginning of the month. And so, if you like the show, if you like the game, go ahead and go get yourself a T-shirt, and we appreciate everything that you do for us. Right now, if you are a player of Old School Essentials, right now there is a Braunhaven sale going on over on Drive Through RPG. It is going to be going on. Tonight is the last night. It will, I believe, it closes out at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. At least that's what it said on my screen. I'm not sure which 9 a.m. it is because I'm on the West Coast, so I don't know if they're talking East Coast. But anyways, I'm assuming it's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern. 33% off for the finale books. There is the finale book to the first edition Braunhaven campaign setting. Glaushine, the Seat of Imperial Power. That book alone has like 3 adventures in it that concludes the campaign. The other item that is on sale is the Artifact Bundle, which has Mysteries of the Mysterious Sylvanas Forest, Stagina, the Land of Ice and Plunder, and Glaushine, the Seat of Imperial Power, all in one bundle. Those 2 titles are 33% off. So if you play Old School Essentials and you want some cool material, head on over and grab those before the sale is done. They will be going on sale again, since Thanksgiving is. It sounds weird to say this. Thanksgiving is like what 2 weeks away. Man, that's fucking crazy. I can't believe that November is more than halfway done. But whatever. Yeah, they will be going on sale around Thanksgiving again. Keep an eye out for that. All right, so Audrey, you have this bundle of parts. Um,
Mhm.
Audrey, you can roll 2D plus your intellect modifier.
Okay, so uh, do that. Intellect.
So Audrey, uh, Audrey is smart enough, being a mechanic. Audrey is smart enough. She is fully aware that she paid too much money for these parts. I mean, she knows it. Whether that be because you are on Astilene's highport, possibly there might be an issue with the fact that Audrey's a Vargur. That may have played into it. It's hard to say. Um, Audrey grew up, if I remember correctly, you said that Audrey grew up in the Imperium, right?
Yes.
Do you know what planet she grew up on? No.
No.
It's not that super important. God, there's the first couple of Traveler characters that I made. That question is like, because at the time I was using RPG Suite, which is when I had it was problematic, and I ended up complaining loud and clear and got a refund. I've heard that they've made some improvements. I don't know. I might try the demo and see what happens. But anyways, one of the first questions when you make a character is home world, and you can pick from a list of worlds. And there's like 300 or 400 planets that you can pick, and if you are not completely versed, and I don't know anybody who is. There are people who have been playing Traveler since the 70s, and if you just blurted out a name of a planet, they probably aren't going to know that much about it because there's just so many, and some planets. There are some cases where there are 3 or 4 planets that have the same name, but they're in different subsectors or different sectors all across space. So then when you look it up, it's like, well, did you mean this one or this one or this one? So you have to know what region you're in. Anyways, the point of it is that if Audrey grew up in the Imperium, her her background compared to a lot of other Vargur is different. So the Vargur have their own. I was gonna say polity, but it's really hard to say that that's what it is because it's almost anarchy. Two, they are forward of the spinward marches, and normal Vargur society, they they have they have another stat. So they have an additional stat called charisma. And the way Verger work is that whoever has the highest charisma is then put in charge or becomes the dominant alpha and they're the leader. So what this means is if that the Vargar extents, they don't really have one overriding government. They have a bunch of little pocket empires, and there are some locations where they can change leadership weekly because another Vargar has come in who has a higher charisma and basically shuts out the present leader, and so they change leaders all the time. And unfortunately, that can also mean that they sometimes, when a new leader comes in, all the old laws are out and new laws are in, so they can change overnight. And there's very seldom any kind of formal voting process. It just is. And so it's a very chaotic mess up there. Um, a lot of that also tends to lead to Vargr entering into the profession of piracy, or raiders, however you want to call it. It's all pirates to me. In fact, they even have entire classes of ships that are designed specifically for that. They don't ever call it piracy, of course. They call it other things, commerce raiding, or even border patrol, or what have you, reconnaissance. But it all leads to the same thing. And so, in the Spinward Marches region, maybe not all the way down here, rimward of the Sword Worlds Confederation, because the Sword Worlds obviously isn't going to allow that kind of shenanigans to be happening in their space, just like the Imperium doesn't. But this region is well versed in Vargr pirates, and so that may have colored the reasoning of the shop owners, and they may have overcharged you for that reason. Another one could be that they just, you know, they got the sniff that they were able to pull one over on you, because you didn't seem to barter with them or argue about the price. You just you just paid it and took it. And so, but Audrey's fully aware of that she paid too much. She's purchased enough parts that she knows what should be the going price, and there are, of course, a number of reasons that this could have been. But as she's walking back through the concourse, she has an arm full of these parts, and I mean, for the money, I will say that she got a good amount of spares, probably enough to almost completely fix up this bike. I think the only thing that she's lacking at this point is maybe spray paint and and maybe some bondo for a couple of rusty spots. But beyond that, this bike should function pretty well when she's done with it. And you are walking through this concourse. The middle of the concourse has had these pallets set up, usually just set up on grav pallets of various cargoes, and there are crew of these ships, deckhands, that are out basically acting like almost like carnival barkers, calling people in, wanting to inspect their cargo, and they see you walking with a group of packages, and so they immediately start calling to you. um, Hey, we see that you've already been shopping. We've got a whole mess of goods here. Did you care to look over our wares? And so
Oh, yes. How?
you were getting this constantly as you were walking down the concourse. Did you want to engage in some speculative trade?
How Audrey wants to see what they have there.
Okay, we can do that. Let's see. So the first thing I need to do, let's see. So this has a Class B starport. This is the trade goods uh, chart, but a little bit more goes into it than just rolling. So it says port. Go ahead and roll 2 6 items one at a time, and we can see
Okay.
what you get on the D66 table. What is this? This the
Okay.
first pallet
So
selling.
D6 and D6.
A 12, and I. You got a 12. Oh, I see. 7. So on a 12, they are selling common industrial goods. Um, Examples of this would be machine components, spare parts for common machinery, stuff that's right up your alley. Um, it is a so Asteline is non-industrial, or is it non-industrial? I don't know. It is non-industrial. So that's a +3. Oh, that's for sale. Sorry. +2 to the purchase, making it 12,000 credits per base. And they are selling it for 5% above that. For 12,600 credits per ton for common industrial goods, basically machine components and spare parts.
Oh, and there's probably a planet along our route they would want to buy those.
That is a very good possibility, yeah. I mean, your next jump from here is Enos, I believe. Yes. And so, Enos being where it is at, and being a Sword World's um, system, they may be in need of spare parts.
Ooh, all right. Well, yeah, then Audrey will get a pallet of those to bring onto the scanner to sell later.
Okay. Let's see how many tons are available. So it says 2D times 10. So there are 70 tons available, making the purchase price 882,000 credits.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you guys are authorized to make purchases on Scander's tab.
Okay, well then Audrey will buy those on the tab and have them moved on to the scanner to sell later.
Okay, so let me put down. I've got some notes here. Where are my notes? Oh, there. Plus 70 tons of common industrial goods. Which actually brings the total to 65 tons because previously you guys sold 5 tons of common industrial goods on a previous world. So, so you go ahead and Audrey just says, "Yeah, I'll take it." She doesn't even attempt to use any broker skill or barter with the guy, and he. When she says, "I'll take it," and you buy this pallet, 70 tons of pallet, and he kind of is a little bit slack jawed, like he he starts to say, and you can tell he starts saying like, "Are you aware of how purchasing goes?" And he stops himself, and he just says, "Okay, we'll have them delivered to your ship." And you guys trade information, and they load up 70 tons of common industrial goods, or move that pallet towards Scander.
Thank you.
what is Audrey doing from there?
Audrey will then goes onto the ship and starts installing the parts on the dirt bike.
Okay, go ahead and make a mechanic plus intellect or education check, your choice.
Okay.
Or
Mechanic.
or Oh well, no, that works. So yeah, you are replacing parts that you'd already previously taken off, and you are happy at work, minding your own business in the cargo hold, and you can see across the hold. I can show you where you're likely at.
Yep, Audrey's dug into the dirt bike for hours working on it, wagging her tail.
You're probably down here on deck one, somewhere down here, um, working on your dirt bike, and you can see
Mhm.
the supplies that you just purchased being moved in. You see some other stuff moving in, as well as some stuff moving out. So you're not sure who the stuff moving out and moving in. You're not sure who else is uh, out there wheeling and dealing, but you can see that some of the cargo is coming in, some of it's coming out. But you do see the pallet that you purchased coming in, and so yeah, you're sitting there working on your bike, and you kind of just see all this as you're humming a tune and turning a wrench. So Zerzy and Svart, you are pushed off out onto the concourse, and the airlock is closed and locked behind you. To SJ8901. What are you guys doing?
I want to go buy a trauma pack.
Okay, you're gonna go purchase a trauma pack. That shouldn't be too hard to find. Let's see here.
I'm hoping to deliver this report to the scanner and then go and spend a whole bunch of money on some trading.
Okay, so here it is. It's on page 91 of Central Supply Catalog. The trauma pack, tech level 8. Yes, that is certainly available here. To the tune of 750 credits.
Buy two.
You're gonna buy 2 of them? I don't.
Yes,
So
please.
it's a benefit makes a small satchel of chemicals and drugs used to pump life back into a wounded body, unsubtle and deadly in multiple doses. Oh, I see. So they will. So use of this automatically on a success. Use of trauma pack requires a medic check, but will restore 1d endurance to a wounded patient. This endurance can be used to bring a technically dead patient back from 0, so long as their last wound was suffered within 1d rounds. So yeah, it's a bunch of amphetamines and adrenaline, probably mixed with heart paddles, and so yeah, that'll definitely wake you up. Is there anything else that you? I mean, this is basically you found a medical supply uh, retail shop kind of. We have them out here, Nordak. Um, is there anything else that you want to buy that is medical related? They have a number of um, drugs, like anti-rads. They've got um, they have adrenalizer, but you need to have a certified medic's certificate in order to purchase it. They have same with fast drug and slow drug, because those are fairly they can be fairly dangerous if you're not a doctor using those. But they do have G tolerance drugs, what they just call medicinal drugs, the overall, vaccines, antitoxins, antibiotics, you name it. Let's see. Got panaceas. I don't know. Is there any additional drugs you want to buy or medical type equipment?
Maybe Cersei does. I'm sure he wants some. He wants some anti-nausea pills for jumping.
Right? Yes.
That was one time.
Yeah, I would say he's probably gotten used to it by now.
I just want to quickly send my robot, which is now going to be named Clanker in lead speak, of course. I'll send him with his recording to go show it to the captain. While I want to look at various people selling trade goods because I am in need of supplies.
Okay.
Need some 100-year-old scotch.
I still have some. I still have some of that.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
It'll be really smooth by then. Of course, 50% of it will have evaporated. The angel share gets bigger the older it gets.
Right.
So ideally, I'm trying to find 21, 32, 42, 46, 62, 63, 66 on the trade goods handout.
That ain't how it works. So,
I'm saying to roll for them, or
yeah,
just, those
those are the ones you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and
for
roll.
different reasons.
Go ahead and roll and see what you get.
Just 2d6, right?
Correct.
I got a 5 and a 1, so 51, which is spicy.
15.
Oh. It's a 51 or 15. I rolled a 5 and a 1.
What'd you roll first?
5 is first, 1 second.
So 51
It's spices.
is spices, and spices always sell well. There are. Wow, that's not a lot of spices. There are 10 tons of spices at.
Looks like they're at 6,000 normally.
Yep. 100% of cost at 6,000 for the ton. You can barter with them by making a broker plus.
Ain't nobody got broker. I don't think anybody actually here has it.
Okay, then
We don't.
Admin.
I mean, you
and
can make a
different.
broker check at -3.
What about persuade?
No.
Damn.
It's gonna have to be, and in fact, let me double check something. But broker. It would be broker plus intellect. Finding
So
a
it's
buyer would be broker plus soch.
Okay. Well, first I'll just ask him, like, how about I trade you? Well, would I know how much per ton that exotic meat would be? That's flash frozen. Is it worth
Maybe.
more than 6,000 a ton?
Let's see here. That would be a luxury consumable. A ton of that. The base price
20,000.
would be 20,000.
Actually, if it's only 6,000, I will buy it with my own personal coin.
Okay.
I will say, I have some plans for this. I will take the whole ton for 6,000. It's such a good deal. I won't even argue with it.
Okay. Again, he's like, okay. But I will tell you, so spices can tend to be difficult to come by.
Okay.
More so than what we're used to now. But if you go back a couple hundred years,
Oh yeah, definitely.
spices were very difficult to come by, and so much so that salt was considered a form of payment in like the Roman Empire. Some of the soldiers were actually paid with a ration of salt. So yeah, that would be exacerbated, of course, in the future. A lot of spices are going to be synthetic. These are not. These are actual real spices. And so 6,000 for the ton actually is a pretty good price.
Yeah, I'm gonna as I'm walking, I'm gonna kind of be yelling once in a while that I'm looking for like cybernetics, robots, advanced medical supplies.
Nuclear grenades.
Nuclear grenade.
If only they had them in this game.
Okay, how about nuclear mortar rounds? You can launch at 3,000 meters.
We have our own ship. We're
fried.
going back to the Fallout planet.
I still remember that Star Trek episode where they launched that thing and the whole sky lights up.
Right? Yes. Uh, what? How rich is Asteline?
It's dirt poor.
Not very, is it?
What? This is a trade convoy that came in.
Go ahead and make a persuasion. And you can persuasion plus social, and you can make that with a +4.
14.
Ooh.
So, a guy next that is next to a pallet of stuff, and some of the pallet is kind of it's covered with a tarp, and he goes, "Hey, come here." You get closer to him, and he goes, "So, you said you were looking for cybernetics?"
Yes.
He says, "Okay, well," and he kind of looks around. He says, you can keep this on the down low, right?"
Oh, of course.
Hell no. I'm
So,
going to tell everybody.
He kind of just lifts up part of the tarp, and you see that and he reaches in and he moves a crate, and tucked in underneath some other crates, there's like a little hollow area. There is an open crate there that you can see that there are a number of parts. Now, let me look. He has a soldier's organ package that he is willing to sell.
Is that in the central supply catalog?
It is. Soldier's organ package he's willing to mildly used, gently used,
Of course.
for 750,000 credits.
Trying to find it.
That's a bit pricey.
I don't even know where that is in the. I'm looking at
It's
the
on
supply catalog.
it's on page 53 of the Central Supply Catalog Update 2023.
I think I have the wrong one open. That's why. Okay. 1 second. Sorry.
No problem.
Soldier's organ package. I'm just gonna look and be like, I will give him 100 credits to keep him quiet. I'll just be like, now I don't really need this kind of cybernetic. Do you happen to know anything about psi abilities or psi drugs or?
No, he's not going to have anything like that. He doesn't have any side drugs. He takes the 100 credits, but when you bring up psionics, his eyes get wide, and he says, "I'm already smuggling illegal cyber tech. I don't want anything to do with no mind readers."
Oh, of course.
He says, but he's got subdermal armor, tech level 10 for 25,000. And he has a combat arm, basic tech level 8 for 12,000. Now, of course, at tech level 8, I mean, you can see this thing sitting in the box. It looks like a robot's arm. I mean,
Right.
there's no denying that it would be cybernetic. But I mean,
But
it's a basic at tech level 8. Strength
so when it
12,
says
protection +2, and it has a fitting for a melee weapon
strength 12, does that mean it brings your strength to 12?
for that arm. Yes, it also has
Say,
protection +2 for that arm, so you
I
can
say
use
my,
that arm as a shield.
I say my strength is a whopping 3 right now. So
Well, you could have a
That
really
would be
strong
a
arm.
huge improvement. When it arm wrestling.
yeah, I'm not looking to be like, I'm not much of a, as you can see from my old age, I'm not much of a fighter. You know, I'm more power of the pen over power of the sword. If you've heard that saying.
Well, I've never seen a pen win a bar brawl.
Well, it does if you have others do the fighting for you. But I may have somebody who could use these, and if he does, his name will be Svart. So if you have a guy come to you at say his name is Svart, that's my friend.
Okay, yeah, I'll give him the same deal.
Of course. But I must keep looking. I have a big shopping list to fill. But I appreciate your respect and honesty.
Okay, so he covers the whole thing back up, and you go on your way.
Well, with a 12, I'm not going to buy anything.
I mean, how many times
Because we already bought the common industrial goods.
Right, right. Yeah, so yeah, I mean there probably are more common industrial goods, but I mean, how many tons of common industrial goods do you need? Yeah. So I mean, is there anything else that you want to do? Zerzy
am I
and
able to
Zwart.
roll anymore? Or no.
Yeah, you can roll
I mean,
again.
yeah. I mean, do I run into Smart? Are you out and about shopping also?
I was buying my trauma packs so I could save you guys.
Yeah, he went and bought a trauma pack, and he just kind of comes back out. I mean, it's impossible to miss this open market that's been set up in the middle of the concourse.
If I see Smart, I'll let him know that that the guy about 6 stalls down behind me, he's got some cybernetic stuff that you may like because you are A, you like to melee fight, and B, you like to fight in general. They're a bit pricey. Well, the arms sounded not that bad for 17,000. I'm sure you and your longsword could appreciate it.
Maybe I'll slice people in half with my long blade.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, let's see, tech level 8. The description of it. So this is one of the first combat implants. The arm is one of the first ever developed. It's a basic cybernetic combat arm in an armored metallic limb designed for combat, noticeably oversized compared to a normal human arm. This augment grafts to the existing bone structure of the Traveler and is powered by a small power cell, keeping the arm active for 300 standard hours before needing to be recharged. It has strength 12, grants protection +2 to the arm if it is directly attacked or if it is used as a shield. It can be fitted with any melee weapon at +10% more than the weapon's standard cost. So it says any melee weapon. Okay, I don't think that you'd be attaching, for instance, a sword into the weapon slot, but a blade being shorter, you certainly could. A stun stick you could put in there.
Who wants a stun stick? I want to cut limbs off.
Right. I mean, you know.
Hands, elbows, shoulders. How about a
Enable.
knee?
And
Yeah,
we'll to roll again, looking.
they're awfully liberal with the word any melee weapon. Oh, I'm going to put a static axe in my weapon slot. No, you're not. That's not going to fit your arm. But yeah, within reason, you can fit a melee weapon into the arm.
45. What's 45? Radioactives.
Oh, fun. Yes. So this ship is selling radioactives. It has come from what was the name of that other world? It is
Out from nuclear heaven.
right. I want to say it was Pandaria. Yeah,
I think it was.
or Carden. So yeah, this is they recently came from that world. And so yes, they are full up on radioactives. They've got atomic missiles. They've got all sorts of stuff that they're selling. Most of this shit is highly illegal. I mean, pretty much.
And yet they're in an Imperial convoy.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Imperial convoy didn't stop mid jump to go and inspect their cargo.
No, the captain said no radioactive weapons, sadly. And I respect the captain's wishes.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Be a bad idea to piss off Magnus.
They might let us stay on one of these planets forever.
Right. Yeah. You might be staying on Asteline longer than you anticipated.
I mean, I'll keep trying to shop until we can't shop anymore. I've got a few things I'm trying to hopefully find cargo to resell.
I will allow you to make one more roll.
All right. Does anybody else want to roll or?
It's all you.
Oh, 64. Illegal luxuries.
Oh boy. Debauched or addictive luxuries. So yeah. So
wouldn't that be like side drugs?
No, it would not at all be anything like side drugs. You find I mean
Vaginas.
Yes. You find a whole bunch of sex toys and bags of white powder that this guy's selling.
It's powdered sugar.
It's just it's just flour. I
And
was gonna bake
flour.
cookies.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 14. What do I get?
Common raw materials.
Common raw materials, which is another one. So these are metals, plastics, chemicals, and other basic materials. They are selling for 11. Actually, they're selling for a bit cheaper. These are selling for 750 credits per ton.
And what can I sell them for?
Well, I mean,
We already got
ba-
that, don't we?
is it?
Don't we already got that?
Common raw materials. Magnus has
Yeah, we
done
have
some trading for it before, but I mean, their base price normally sells for 5,000.
How much they got?
They have 2D times 20. Oops, that's way too. Try that again. So 8. They've got 160 tons at 750 credits per ton. They're trying to offload it.
Buy 100 tons on the ship.
Okay.
We
No, I
should
know
be
that-
able to sell it somewhere.
I know they have fun candy and stuff like that, but do they have any alcohol? The illegal luxuries I found.
Yeah, they. Well, yes, but hold that thought.
Okay.
TCP in it.
Better.
It's 10% TCP, 120 proof.
So yes, they do have something else in there. Yes, they have part of these illegal luxuries. There is a odd-shaped bottle, a purple bottle with gold accents. Show it to
Oh, it's Romulan ale.
you. Better. And it is all the way from the Trojan Reach. And it is called Mirage Liquor. It is not. Never mind. Wishful thinking. So Mirage Liquor, what it is most well known for is its massive hallucinogenic effects, but um, it borders on almost like a transcendent experience. It is, let's see, it is distilled from uh, uh, the spice found on Mirage, and it is the spice is actually or cultivated by Mirage, these small burrowing insects that are Mirage spiders, and these spiders are crushed and processed. That yields an intoxicating, hallucinogenic uh, liquor called Mirage Liquor. The drug differs from other narcotics in that it allows directed dreaming. Drink the waters of Mirage, and you will become the master of your own dreams for a few hours, enjoying any experience you can imagine with perfect clarity and perfect recall. It is highly addictive. There are some uh, in the medical field that are experimenting with it for psychotherapy, but for the most part, it is highly illegal, and it is illegal to even traffic it. It is very illegal in the Imperium.
Oh, I confused. Sorry. Um, and are we actually going into Imperium space again, or
There's a good. Let's see here. Probably yes. Eventually, you will be. Um,
okay?
I'm sure. I
Uh,
mean, you've already done some forays into Imperial space, such as Iterati and Go
right.
Hatcher, but it is very likely that you will be heading through possibly Caliburn, Gun, or Caldebolg, which are all Imperial client states.
I'll just kind of sigh at the person, and just be like, I just want to find some robots or some psychic stuff, but
Yeah,
It's a very tempting offer,
you're
but I'll
not
pass.
going to find anything to do with psionics in an open concourse trade situation. You might find
Right.
some drugs and some illegal cybernetics. That's one thing, but psionics, since the psionic suppressions of around the 800s, psionics are a fucking no for anybody in the Imperium. It is off limits. It is verboten. Nobody even wants to talk about it.
Okay.
You talk
Nah.
about it, you might go to jail.
Well, maybe,
I
but
would.
for the most part, it is a well-known, open, secret conspiracy theory that the Empire, even with the outright ban on psionics, that there are psionics institutes. There are people that say that there are psionics institutes all over the Imperium and in other locations that are underground, that are off the books. These are completely black ops operations that the Imperium is still cultivating and harvesting psionics, but it is illegal. Is the official stance.
I wouldn't say anything about the psionics out loud. Then I would say I was just looking for like high tech computers and cybernetics and robots, but it's tempting. But I'll have to pass. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I'll,
So, coming up through the crowd, you see Magnus, and he comes up and he puts his arm around both you and Svart, and he says, "It has been an excellent trading mission. This was an excellent stop. I have sold a number of shares in some high-tech equipment that I will be trading in lieu of high-value metals and minerals. Uh, this has been a very profitable trip. And come, my friends, we are on me. I am taking us all to dinner. I have already purchased every seat in the local uh, brew house
Nerd
tavern.
bar.
I've purchased.
Nerd bar and grill.
I've purchased the entire restaurant of the brew house tavern. I will be throwing a large dinner for the entire crew. Come, we shall drink and celebrate.
did you talk to Clanker?
So Clanker comes kind of finally running up behind Magnus. He's been trying to catch up to Magnus this entire time to deliver this message. So
More beer.
what was your message?
Oh, I just was gonna let him watch the recording of going inside of the scout ship and the conversation, and just basically let him know that I don't believe it's coincidence. I think that they're onto something, but I don't have any evidence. All we know is the ship was extremely clean for being a scout ship.
And he kind of brushes that off. He says, maybe it's just run by a very good
OCD.
captain. Or
she's OCD.
Yeah, maybe she's a CD. Maybe she's on meth. Did you see a toothbrush anywhere? But he's like, so maybe she just runs a really tight ship. He said, or you might be right. One of the hallmarks of keeping a clean ship like that is a vessel that is known for piracy. And he says, if you bring up the disinfectant smell, that would be the hallmarks of them cleaning every surface to make sure that there's no evidence left to be found.
Oh yeah, I would tell him everything. Why wouldn't I?
So he says it's possible. He says we are from the Sword Worlds. If they are an Imperial ship, it would not be beyond reason that they might be following us. That this is a possibility. We would do in the Sword Worlds. We would do the same. in many cases. If a large Imperial merchant cruiser, if a Leviathan came into Sword World space, they would draw attention. The Leviathan's much smaller than the Scander at only I think they're 1,800 tons, but at the same time, they are large enough that they would draw attention. And so it would not be beyond reason that we would assign ships to follow and track them. But come, I am not concerned with a small scout ship that is traveling to follow us. If they cause problems, we are more than armed and capable of dealing with them. But come, we must inform the rest of the crew, and we shall go to dinner tonight.
Yes,
Mate,
Captain.
I want some pub ale.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There. So have you ever had
Pub ale.
have you ever had actual pub beer? So there.
Yes,
I fucking love it. I think it's great. Um. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
love that
much
stuff.
better than beer.
Yeah.
Ale is much better than beer.
Yeah. True. True. Where was I?
Ever had a chocolate malt?
I have not.
You could die and go to heaven.
Actually, I take that back. I have. So I was up in Leavenworth, Washington, and they had basically it is an ale fest that is mostly for locals, and so we ended up going, and they had some fantastic stuff, and there was a chocolate malt stout called Goat Meal Stout by the Goat Meat or Goat Brewing Company. They also had another one, a juicy pale ale, Buzzsaw McThunderface or something like that. But yeah, the Goat Meal Stout.
You make a pale ale juicy.
I don't know, but I didn't care for. I mean, I like pale ales, but after having the goat meal stout, oh my god, that was good. A, it was like drinking liquid chocolate. It was fantastic.
The one in Chicago, one in Columbus, I found was you could stand up a spoon in the glass.
Oh, this wasn't that thick, but yeah, this had a head on it almost like Guinness, and it almost at first glance you would have thought that it was Guinness, except that there was a more chocolatey brown to it. Oh, it was really good. Unfortunately, they don't sell it down here. They haven't made it this direction from Leavenworth, and I'm like, damn it! Can I order it? Can I get like a pallet of that shipped to me? I mean, god damn, that stuff's good. I must have gone to their booth like 10 times.
I had a friend who owned a Bonanza.
Mm.
A single engine aircraft.
Right.
He would fly to Columbus and pick up a coney keg of this stuff and fly it back to DC.
Nice.
That's cool.
So Magnus gets the crew together in the Brewhouse Tavern. Yeah. The local Brewhouse Tavern. The thing about Brewhouse is that they are a franchise and they mostly try to have everything that's on the menu be something that's locally sourced. And
isn't that kind of hard when there's only 80 people on the planet?
Right. And not every location is 100% capable of doing that. I mean, of course, this highport has hydroponic gardens and that kind of thing. They do have the capability of growing some of their own vegetables and food, but a lot of stuff, of course, on this menu is going to be imported. This is not beyond reason, but this brewhouse stays in business because of the merchant traffic that comes through Asteline, which is the entire reason for the starport to be existing. Anyways, that's Asteline. Beyond that is nothing. This is the traffic that comes through is the entire reason that this starport was built, and then thus it actually bolstered more traffic, and so except for the fact that Asteline is a dumpster fire of a planet, um, there would be usually there would be some kind of increase in population, but the bulk of the population in the system lives on the highport with only about 80 people living down on the ground. But the population of the starport itself fluctuates. It says fluctuates around 20,000 people. So this is a busy starport. And so this brew house has stayed in business, importing a lot of their product, and Magnus has come in and he is paying for the whole thing. You can drink as much as you want. You can eat as much as you want. They don't have any meads. Well, actually, as close as you are to the Sword Worlds Confederation, they probably do have some mead. So they have some honey meads, and they've got a wide range of different beers and ales. They've got wine spritzers. I mean, you name it, they have it. They kind of are shotgunning it to a multitude of tastes for the different clientele that comes through. As far as food goes, they do have on the higher end. They've got actual steak, but most of their food is basically 3D printed from protein. But they've got burgers and things like that. You're gonna stand by the door with Clanker, okay? Um, okay, so
He's been away for a long time. He's kind of in his own head.
you're homesick. But yeah, Magnus goes on about how great this journey has been. This is a celebratory last night in port. He has you and the crew of Skander are the only people in the restaurant. It is a memorable situation. Some of the crew sing traditional songs, Sword World songs together. Magnus lavishly praises the crew, and of course the ship that they serve. The ship's self-appointed skald recites an epic poem about the heroic battle of a lowly deck scrubber against a crewmates with dusty boots, and the night just kind of goes on into the early hours before everybody kind of stumbles back to the ship and are ready to leave in the morning.
Yes.
And so you guys sleep it off, waking up the next morning with the Skander prepping or getting out of dock and leaving. You go back to your normal crew duties, and Skander makes a jump for Enos. You guys can add a week. Oh yeah, I need to swap out your token. You guys can add a week to your study periods.
Ooh, okay. Week.
Shorten that name down a bit. There we go. Show it all.
Your breath smells like cat food.
And so, yeah, you can add a week to your study period. Is anybody at 8 weeks for study period yet?
Nope, I'm at week 12 of my second period.
Oh, okay. So
I think if anyone's closest, it'd be Svart, because I think he's a week ahead of me.
probably, yeah.
I'm at week 4.
Okay. So another 4 weeks to go, and then you get 2 skills instead of 1.
I get leadership at 0.
Yeah, and what was the? Then you get an engineering 0, don't you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get piloting and mechanic, I believe you told me.
Actually, don't I get one at 1? Because I have one. I have engineering at 0.
yeah, you would be able to specialize in one of the engineering.
Oh, I have electronics at 0.
Oh, electronics. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you don't have engineering anything in engineering, then you would just get it at 0. But anyways, so so week goes by, fairly fairly mundanely. Is there anything in particular that you guys are wanting to do with your weekend jump aside from studying and your on the job training that Magnus has instituted?
I'll start dressing Clanker up as if he's wearing like almost a copy of my uniform. It doesn't have the medals, doesn't look nearly as fancy, but he looks from behind. He looks like a doppelganger of me.
He's a little bit taller, but you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna dress up your robot like some people dress up their dog.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, I mean, the week goes by fairly well. Audrey, you can make a mechanic plus intellect or education. Oh, actually, you can make a mechanic plus shit. Let me double check. There's so many different ways that you can go with mechanic. You can make, yeah, mechanic plus intellect or education.
Okay, rolling mechanic.
Woo!
Ooh.
Blasted it. So yeah, you get the bike pretty much put back together with all of its parts in this week. Everything goes swimmingly, and you fire it up, and you charge it and test fire it in the cargo hold, and take it for a spin around the crates, and it works well.
Yay.
I mean, it still looks like hammered shit, but you know, that could be next. You can work on hammering out some dents, and maybe next port look to see about getting some spray paint or something and rattle canning it, or you can leave it looking scuffy.
Leave it scuffy.
Yeah, personally, I think dirt bikes look better when they're a little scuffed up. Leather jackets, dirt bikes, and cowboy hats all look better than they do when they're brand new.
Mhm.
So, the end of the week, you come out in Enos. I have to find it. There it is. So, not a whole lot here. So, as is stated, so Enos is a member of the Sword Worlds Confederation, but it lies. You're right, it lies far to the south, or south, space south, far rimward of anything else in the Federation or in the Confederation, and so it's not really visited a whole lot. The biggest piece of history as far as why Enos really exists at all is that it had a Sword Worlds Confederation naval base here that was essentially scuttled during the process of the formation of the treaties that ended the Fourth Frontier War. But that base is still here, and Enos has kind of moved in. Well, the Sword Worlds has moved in a small amount of personnel, and they're basically using a couple of offices out of this old naval base as kind of a recruiting office. And the thing about Enos is that the the people that live here. Enos only has a a tech level of 4 is their standard tech level. So they actually use biplanes. They've got steam-driven cars that they drive around, and so the idea of they are very patriotic though, and the idea of joining military service is a huge thing with the population of Enos. The world, Enos itself, is believed to have been a rogue that was captured by the M15 primary star in the system. The star's name is Kaleshi, and it has made this capture and its orbit around Kaleshi has made Enos more or less inhabitable, but it's not really a fantastic place. There is a high amount of volcanism on the planet, and so there's tectonic movement all over the place. In addition to that, Enos is and the biggest industry on Enos, it is packed to the gills with petrochemicals, and that is the biggest industry here, is that they harvest these petrochemicals. But because of the high tectonic rate, the surface crust, the rock has become brittle, and a lot of these gases will suddenly escape. The most industrial area of the planet is a large, basically a tar pit, and this boiling tar comes up to the surface and just basically stains the landscape for kilometers around. And sometimes lightning storm, or sometimes from accidents that are caused by these petrochemical miners, it will light off the occasional petrochemical gas jet that blows up out of the ground with this tar, and it will explode, and then that will light the tar on fire, and so you will have a 2-kilometer wide tar fire that goes on until they can put it out. So harvesting stuff on this world is exceptionally dangerous. But as you're coming into port, you and I say this, I call it a port in air quotes, because it is a Class E starport. It barely classifies as such, and the pilot comes in. You're the only ship here, and you see taking off. You see one of these taking off from the so-called starport. This is what they use to patrol their skies.
Interesting.
And you see a number of these are the standard vehicle, evidently. You see a number of these tootling around. It's kind of like a steam-powered rickshaw. And the pilot sets Skander down in this industrialized starport of this fiery petrochemical planet. And you can see that in the distance, you see a plume go up and ignite, and you can see these fiery rocks come blown up out of the ground. And you can't imagine wanting to work as a petrochemical miner, yet 90% of the planet, that's their job. Now, the other thing about Enos is that it is like a lot of Sword World's planets. No matter the distance, Enos kind of follows suit in that it is ruled by a hereditary nobleman named called a Hertug, and the current leader is Hertug Ivan Ino. And shortly after landing, Magnus leaves. He doesn't really say where he's going, but coming back shortly later, he arrives in this kind of cavalcade of steam-driven cars, pulls up, and he steps out with Hertug Ivan Ino, and evidently he was Magnus was invited to the palace. Hertug, the first thing that you notice, and of course, before he left, Magnus, of course, as you guys were coming into the world, he let everybody know that Enos doesn't see a whole lot of Sword World ships. And so this is another one of those cases where we're going to put on a show because it's crisp uniforms, um, you know, good maneuvers, run a tight ship, because we're flag waving here, and so he arrives with Hertug Ivan Ino, and you guys are kind of standing around the open cargo bay, in your best uniforms, and the first thing that you notice is that Hertug Ivan Ino is not dressed like a nobleman. He's wearing dungarees. He's got a outdoor kind of jacket on. He's not dressed like you would expect a nobleman. He's not even dressed as well as Xerxes is when Xerxes wearing his spacers coveralls. He's not even dressed that nice. So this guy comes up, and Magnus introduces you. He says,
He looks much better than he would if he was in buckskins.
well, yes, true.
I mean,
Especially
at tech
on a-
level 4, what's he going to wear? Deer skins?
Well, so yeah, you guys can all make a recon plus intellect check.
Okay.
I'll be the last one to speak to the guy. And I got a 12.
So Audrey did not get it, but Svart and Xerxes,
Nope.
despite the fact, I mean, they're driving around in these steam cars. They've got biplanes that they use for their standard air patrol. You see that him and he's got a small entourage of people. Directly behind him is his assistant. All of them have they're at least tech level 12 mobile comms. You see that they have some higher level tech that is available to them. And Magnus introduces you. He says, "These are some of my best known officers on Skander." And he says, Magnus turns to you and he says, "Well, Hertug Ivan has shown a great interest in learning about Skander, and I have volunteered you three to kind of give him a tour of the ship, including the bridge. There shouldn't be any areas other than personal space that are off limits. You can show him around and explain things to him. And one of his assistants, or one of the guys that are traveling, kind of leans over, and you overhear him say, he says, Hertug, I believe that this is an intense waste of time. We have other things that we could be doing." And Ivan just kind of holds up his hand and says, "I know how you feel about it, but I take an interest in our Confederation's ships, and Skander seems to be a beautiful vessel that I would like to learn more about." Xerxes, you can make a recon plus social check.
And
So
His social is 14.
mine's only 11.
So, Xerxes, you immediately pick up, being a nobleman yourself and having run in diplomatic circles, that Hertug Ivan is a little bit different. This little interaction, in most cases, at least with a lot of noblemen that you would see have run into, if the if the nobleman had said, "I want to go take a tour of this ship that's in our port," and we're going to go do that, anybody that would have said this is a stupid idea, we've got better things to waste our time on, would have been promptly beaten or fired on the spot or whatever. And it doesn't seem to bother Hertug Ivan. He just brushes it off, and you get the feeling like Hertug likes to be spoken to plainly, but he also expects that whether you can speak to him and speak your mind of what you really think, but when push comes to shove, if he has decided to do something that you don't agree with, he still expects you to do what you're told, kind of thing. But almost seems like he expects his people to speak plainly and tell him the truth, and which is kind of refreshing. He doesn't like sycophants around him. He wants honest, genuine people.
I'll wait and see if Audrey has anything to say before I say anything as Zerzy.
Yeah, Audrey, what are you saying?
Oh, Audrey says, "Hi, I'm Audrey."
He says, I'm very pleased to meet you, Audrey, and he shakes your hand.
If he offers his hand, then Audrey sniffs his hand.
Zerzy?
I stand extremely because he said he's their king essentially of this planet, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if king, maybe Duke. I'm not. I don't know
I'll just
what
call
that
him Lord because
relates to Hertug. Let's see here.
I'd assume
it's a Norwegian word for Duke.
Okay.
So he would be their Duke.
So he is a lord. So yeah, I would do like a light head bow and say, "Nice to meet you, my lord. I am Zerzy. I am part of the noble cast from Jodani, of course, a longtime friend of the Sword Worlds. I have a gift of a ton of spice for you as a show of proper support from both the Skander and from Jodani.
So
it's good to be back on friendly territory."
He is very overjoyed. Spice is always welcome. And he says, "Oh, yes, oh, this is so fantastic." And he looks at his assistant. He goes, "Get somebody to get that unloaded, and make sure that the chef puts on a grand meal using it tonight." He says, "I doubt that he'll go through an entire ton, but tell him not to spare any of the spice. Use what is needed to create a grand feast for me and the valiant crew of Skander." And he starts to point out, and Audrey might catch this. He starts to point out certain things on the outside of the ship, like he points to the grav lifters, and he refers to them by the wrong name. Rather than calling them grav lifters, he calls them. Yes, this is the. He turns to an assistant of it. This is the hydraulic lift system, obviously. I don't know if anybody wants to correct him.
Oh, Audrey says that's. Audrey tells him what it is actually,
and he goes, and my mistake. These are the grav lifters. This is part of the system that allows the ship to take off, and you pretty much go. This is kind of a normal thing. You guys start to notice that he will. All of you can make a recon plus social check.
Okay. God plus social.
What's social?
Right.
You unsocial swine. I got an 8.
So Zerzy. Oh yes,
I got
Audrey.
5.
Audrey and Svart. You're just like, man. He he doesn't know his ship parts. But Zersey, Audrey has gone through and she's corrected him numerous times when he's called things out. But Zersey, you notice it's obvious to you that he knows what these items are really called, and he's kind of doing this on purpose, almost like it's a test to see if you guys or in this case particularly Audrey will just kind of go along with him, and he's kind of testing to see if you'll correct him or not. And when you get to the bridge, he goes in and actually sits down in the pilot seat. Do you guys say anything about that?
No.
I'm just gonna be nice, and you've never seen Zersey like so. He's like, "Oh, I'm back in my element. There's a noble person here, so like I'm excited. I'm very much like standing very much at like attention. I'm using all the proper like, yes, Lord, no, Lord, if you ask me anything. But I'm not gonna correct him.
Okay. What about Zvart?
Saying, please don't touch anything, sir.
He says, I'm sorry. And he stands up. He says, I wouldn't dream of touching anything. This goes on and on. And by the time you get done, it probably takes you a good 2 hours. He has questions about everything, constantly calling things the wrong name, even though you know that he knows what the real name is. And you kind of get done with this tour. Zersey, of course, is feeling kind of at home and in his element, whereas Audrey and Zvart might be like, after 2 hours, that probably starts to wear on the normal rank and file. And so you come back down into the cargo hold, and Magnus comes in.
I slip back into, do I have to guard this guy?
Yes. And so Magnus comes back in after your 2-hour tour of the ship, and he says, "Oh, good. How did the tour go, sir?" And Hertug Ivan says, "You have a very wonderful ship and a very knowledgeable and gracious crew. Very, very, very clean cut crew." And Magnus says, "Well," he says, I just was able to get some of my deckhands to shuffle things around." And he says, in addition to Zersey's gift of the ton of spices, Magnus says, I am, what is he giving him? He is giving him... He's giving him several tons of some of his common industrial goods,
Which we just bought.
We did. I'm glad.
Right, and he already had some of it. Let's see here.
He started with.
He already
400
had
tons.
some.
Let's see here. Scander cargo. This is what he had. He's giving some common manufactured goods, common industrial goods, some of the common raw materials, electronics, medical supplies, and of course some luxury goods. And some of that he's going to, of the 300 tons of frozen meat, he's giving him 100 tons, which, of course, Hertug Ivan then proceeds to again tell his assistant to take these to the chef. We're going to have a feast tonight. And so the poor chef is probably having to change his menu every hour because of all this additional stuff that's coming in. And so he basically tells him that he's giving him these electronics and these common industrial goods and raw materials. And he says, and Magnus says, I understand that you probably don't have, a lot of this stuff is like higher tech level, right? And he says, and I don't mean to be insulting, but I would imagine that your people may have a little bit of a problem installing some of this stuff or getting it up and running. And so I am going to offer these three fine gentlemen, or these two gentlemen and this lady, to go ahead and go out and they are going to essentially do tech support for you and assist you in installing all of these goods.
Thanks, boss.
Well, it would make Audrey happy to do that.
Right, Audrey's Audrey's the one that knows how to do a lot of this stuff. But I mean, you have to figure, you guys.
Zero.
So Xerxes and Zvart won't be completely useless. So a
I
lot
have
of
Clanker. He can do mechanics.
that's true, and you've got your robot, and so a lot of this stuff, though, you have to figure that a lot of these guys, of course, Audrey's going to be turning wrenches and plugging things in and getting them fired up. But you're talking about tech level 10 to 12 stuff on a tech level 4 world. And so on a tech level 4 world, some of these people may not understand that you can touch the screen to make things work. And so this is
How about they may not have electricity in their house?
right. No, they do have electricity. But Zvart and Xerxes can be like, oh, well, this is how you do. You would know how to operate some of this stuff. It's just a matter of teaching them and saying, well, you hit this and you hit this. They're probably, by the time you guys are done, they're probably not going to be thinking outside the box too much. If they don't hit these 4 icons and something goes wrong, after you guys leave, they're probably not going to know a whole lot beyond that. So I will allow Zvart and Xerxes, you can both make just 2D plus your intellect or education, your choice.
2D
11.
plus my intellect. 6.
Well, Zvart is able to get as far as basically teaching them how to operate some of this stuff. Xerxes, on the other hand, goes into a little bit more depth, and so essentially giving them amount of knowledge that after you guys leave, they can. He kind of gives them a checklist. Well, if that's not working, check this. You can check this. This is all normal stuff that you guys do every day. As an example, when I was doing a class, this is way back in college. I was doing a class for algorithmic design, and the question was, we had to come up with an algorithm to teach somebody how to use a telephone that has never seen one before. We had to come up with essentially 4 steps in an algorithm that, or however many steps in an algorithm, where you're going to start and how you're going to end. That is going to be with them completing a phone call and concluding it by hanging the phone up. And that's a lot harder than you think, but it's something that you do every day. Honestly, I think that it would be easier. And when I took that course, everybody was still using landlines. I think it would be easier to teach somebody how to make a phone call with a smartphone than it would be, an actual landline phone. But because
You mean you were still using analog devices?
yes, we were still using analog devices. Our power went out. Our power went out, and so I was using my tablet, and I checked the outage site, and their front page for their outage site had a big warning. Warning: if you are attempting to use a cordless landline phone, be aware that it will not function when the power is out. Like, no shit. Who the hell is using a cordless landline phone in 2025? Whatever. It's like, okay, sure. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody. But yeah, Xerxes, you kind of give them a checklist of stuff. Audrey, you can make a mechanic plus intellect or education check, your choice.
Okay.
We have a private moment. I'd want to talk to Svart and Audrey
Sure.
away from helping in between, like helping people. Because I want to ask them a question, an observation I've noticed on this planet.
Sure, go ahead.
Just as far is it, Audrey, you may know. I don't know if you know anything about Sword Worlds, but is it normal that the king and his guys have Tech 12? All these people have Tech 4, but there was a naval base here which probably had what Tech 12, 12 or 14 stuff.
The naval base would have had at least Tech 10. Well, it depends on how long ago the Fourth Frontier War was, and that's a whole rabbit hole I don't want to go down. But at the bare minimum, that naval base would have been Tech level 10. Yeah.
Like how did they get knocked all the way down to 4?
So this
I didn't notice anything.
So this isn't something that would be that uncommon. So Enos does have imports. I mean, they are on more or less a shipping line. Some of those merchant ships do make their way to Enos. The average tech level of the world that most people are going to have, and the tech level that the planet can sustain, is only tech level 4. But it is quite obvious to you that Hertog Ivan, some of the higher level bureaucrats, the wealthier people that can afford some of those expensive tech level 10 to 12 imports, they would have some of those items because they can afford them.
Okay. I just didn't know if that was like a normal thing or not.
That's pretty normal
somebody-
everywhere.
Petrol miner probably doesn't make enough to buy anything.
Right. I don't know. Petrol miners probably make pretty good. Probably make a pretty good income. I would say probably. I would hope that they would make at least 70,000 credits a year, but they probably should be making 100 to 120,000 credits a year, and they probably have great insurance. Hertog Ivan seems like the kind of guy who would really take care of his people. Lots of life insurance because of all the explosions and whatnot. But
okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, so Audrey, you are able to getting this stuff hooked up isn't that bad. It isn't that hard. It was a routine 6+ check. They do have electricity. A lot of it is geothermal power plants, and so you're able to get this stuff hooked up, and pretty much this entire stopover. There is nothing here. There's really not any kind of industry here for you guys to make any purchase or deals. Likewise, there's really no intelligence to be gathered here. The offices of the naval base, there are a handful of individuals. They are running it as a recruiting office. There's not any military intelligence that's going through here. They are just signing people up to any ship that's heading back towards the Sword Worlds. They're signing people up to head back into the main Confederation so that they can join the patrol. Aside from that, there's nothing to be bought here. Magnus does, however, end up buying several hundred tons of hydrogen and in big cooled vats that are stored in the cargo hold. And the Hertog Ivan lavishes you all with praise, and there is another big dinner serving the meat that was gifted to him, as well as using Xerxes spices. It is a fantastic meal. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot left, and you guys load up again into Skander and make your way for Bowman. Everybody can add another week to your
Ooh.
to your study periods. Bowman, again, the the week goes by fairly fairly uneventful. Bowman.
I
So
take I take my anti drunkenness pills.
yes, you're gonna spend the week drinking. Yes, as you should. So this map of Bowman,
You want your treat, don't you?
these the like Rad World, Ice World, these aren't actually planets. They are at most planetismals. At at They're most of them are going to be like really large asteroids, like around the size of Ceres, for example. The only planet in this system is Bowman Prime, which is a large gas giant. It has a an Imperial naval base starport called Garrison Starport. That it is a Class C starport, and out of Garrison Starport there is also a small IISS. Basically, it's a repair port for scouts to put in for minor repairs. Aside from that, there there's just this naval base. The rest of Bowman, with these small planetismals and large asteroids, Bowman is actually these belts. And there is no real main world beyond the gas giant. The belts themselves are actually the result of about 5 entire planets that have been torn apart and form the system as it is. There is no actual census of how many people live in those belts. It has a high belter activity. There are a number of small independents and minor minor companies that do mining in the belts, and there is an untold number of people that actually have habitats that live in the actual belt. They pick a meteor and they set up shop there. Of the of the population of Garrison Starport, it is mostly around 8,000 people, but they are not considered to be a part of the population of the system. Right now, as Skander comes in, so Skander comes in, and Magnus, of course, says this is an Imperial Starport. Everybody has to be on their best behavior. And don't make, we're on show because of this, so don't make any mistakes. And so the pilot, when you come in, has to maneuver through this main belt in order to get to Bowman Prime. Let's see how he does. He does pretty good. He doesn't have to do any major course corrections or embarrass the astrogation officer. And so the other problem that you learn coming in, and you learn this from a number of news feeds that come up from the system network, is that so Ling Standard Products has come in, and Ling Standard Products is a mega corporation. They have decided to come in, and they are going to start mining in the system, and this has kind of butted in on the independents and the small mining companies that work in the system. And so there's a little bit of friction going on here between independents and Ling Standard Products, and it is starting to get to a boiling point where sooner or later somebody's going to get pissed off and they're going to pull a trigger or something worse. And so LSP has been trying to essentially set up shop and is in the process of trying to drive off the local belters in the system. Skander makes its way through the belt and docks at Garrison Starport, and Magnus gets up off the bridge, and he comes up and he hands Zerzy a flimsy, and he says, go about your standard business, and he hands you this flimsy, and he turns around and he walks off, and you know that he's leaving. He's boarding a shuttle, and he has listed it, his flight plan. In Bowman, there is a location in the belt called Denisov Memorial. And Bowman is well known as Denisov's last stand. So, to tell you about Denisov, and this is way more than you need to read, I will summarize this. So, Admiral Denisov is a national hero to the Sword Worlders. In the year 604, civil war broke out in the Imperium, and there were elements of the Spinward Marches fleet that got drawn in, and then there were reinforcements that were brought in from the Jadani consulate. There were all sorts of fleets that got into it, and one of these fleets was commanded by Admiral Denisov, and he was a bear to deal with. And it got to the point. This was the Fourth Frontier War. It finally got to a point that essentially everybody knew that the Sword Worlds was going to lose, that the Imperium was going to win the war, and Admiral Denisov was given the order to stand down, and he refused the order and continued for nearly a year doing additional hit and run tactics against the Third Imperium. And finally, Denisov's fleet was kind of cornered in Bowman, and it is said that Bowman is where the Imperial fleet finally destroyed Denisov's ship. It should be noted, however, that his body was never found. In fact, his ship was never found. And there are some who speculate that Grand Admiral Denisov actually escaped, boarding another ship and then leaving Bowman, hopefully to bolster forces and come back to fight another day. But that's probably a fairy tale. He kind of has a King Arthur status, but there is a location here in Bowman called Denisov Memorial. There are a small number of belters that operate out of Denisov Memorial, but Magnus is going there, and he's basically going to go and pay his respects. But he hands you this flimsy. When you look at the flimsy, let me get back to where I was.
Do I need to look at it, or do I need to just put it in my computer?
So a flimsy is basically a carbon plastic thin sheet, and it has electronics in it, so some of the stuff is like news pictures and whatnot can be animated, but written on it on here, scribbled on it is a note cryptically telling you to go about your normal business, but along the way, you are to meet Magnus's contact without attracting attention and bring whatever they need, or whatever this contact gives you, back to the ship. And it contains only the name Kurt Sanigan and a code number that corresponds to a rented office that is close to Garrison Starport's administrative center.
Okay.
And that is where we will leave off for today.
Okay.
Q.
You're welcome. Did you have something else to say there, Zerzy?
Oh no, I was gonna say one of the things I'm gonna do when we start up again is contact the scouts and see what they say about that ship.
Okay. Yeah,
that's for next week.
So you've got, this note with an address and a name, and then your own looking into the scout ship. Sure.
All right, let's see everyone next week.
All right, I will see you guys next week.
Sounds good. I have a feeling that we have missed a lot of the informant stuff.
Not really. Not really.
Only because if you look at the scan to cargo under currency, it says that cash might be used to